We are joined by attorney Jeff O'Brien for our weekly 3 and Out. 3 stories, usually related to sports. They sure are today. And, well, let's get right to it, Jeff. This one is interesting because it involves what was once a former, we never were colleagues. He worked at the Pioneer Press when I worked at the Star-Tribune, and then we sort of flipped. He went to the Star-Tribune, and I went to the Pioneer Press. And I'm talking about Patrick Reusse, who took himself off of Twitter over the weekend because he got a barrage of complaints, people accusing him of being racist when that's not what the case was. I don't believe for a second that was Patrick is not racist. I've known him long enough to say that, and I always got along with him, but it's not that because I know him that I'm saying that he's getting unfairly criticized. Hey, you know what? If you've had a scintilla of success, people are going to come after you. So
I always think of him as being your tag team partner in the famous Bernsey interview when you guys kept egging him on in his pro Schnauker tirade because you hear both your voices in that.
We're the only two who actually piped up during that thing. Everybody else was afraid to, and I'm sure that I don't know if Patrick feels this way, but this is arrogance on my part. But I wonder how do these news conferences take place without me there? Or without, if both of us, neither one of us is there. Although there were, since I, was a beat reporter and I was at these games, there have been a few that have come through that are pretty good at it. So I guess that's a little unfair. But what happened with Reusse is, he could have stayed on. It's not like his job's, I don't think his job's in jeopardy, but explain what happened.
Yeah, the Star-Tribune has come out and said it was, they've reviewed it and it wasn't racist. And, here's what happened. And for anybody that isn't aware of it, and we can talk about why the fallout happened. So Reusse was at, I think it was a Gopher basketball game or something. And there was a song that came on,
baseball.
The PA.
It might have been a baseball game at at US Bank Stadium.
Okay, well, that's right, because he mentioned the Ziggy Dome, yeah. So he's complaining about a song that's playing at US Bank Stadium, and he references that he blanked out a word, and then it says monkey. Now, what he's referring to is a song by the Beastie Boys, which is an all-white rap group dating back to the 80s and 90s. They're not around anymore. I liked it. I was a fan of them. And he's complaining about the song Brass Monkey. And of course then chaos ensues because he's talking about rap and he mentions the word monkey. And so immediately people seize on it saying he's making some racist comment or blah, blah, blah.
Let me stop for you for 1 second. Aren't the people that immediately see the word monkey and go to racism, aren't they racist? I don't understand how you immediately make that connection or some sort of a connection. It's crazy.
Yeah. Here's the interesting part about it, Bob, is, Patrick, doesn't shy away from his other opinions on life, particularly about Donald Trump and the Republicans when he's on X. And he gets criticized for being unduly harsh towards Gopher athletics. Okay. So what you have happening in this tweet or this post, whatever we call it now, is just him being the curmudgeon that he is. And a couple of groups that hate his guts seizing on it.
Well, the guy,
he's taking it out of context.
He is pushing 80. He's about the age of the president. Not that there's anything wrong with that. He's a very young, 70-something, I would say, because he's still pretty. He's still vibrant. He's been cantankerous though since he was in his 20s.
That's his brand. That's his shtick.
Yeah.
And what I give him credit for, along with you, Bob, is you two are about the only sports writers in town that ever talk about any college program other than the Gophers.
Well, and we're going to get to that in a minute.
St. Thomas wouldn't get any love without you two.
Okay, here we go. Now, see, Jeff is jumping ahead, but we're going to go right to that then. It's wrong what happened to, but you know what? It was his choice. He could stay on or go back on.
Yeah, I hope we hear from him. I don't know if he's going to be on any of his podcasts.
I'm sure he will. He's not going to be banned from that or
his
not.
His next column was I think he does like 3 a week for the Strib now. I don't know when his next one's going to be. Maybe he'll address it. Maybe he'll go back on after it dies down. I hope he does, because he's always kind of a fun read. But this is just a good example of when you play on the side that supports cancel culture, sometimes it can burn you.
But okay,
the same thing.
And here now, he's never said I'm never gonna, because I talked to him weeks ago or a month or so ago. He called me about something, because he calls me sometimes when it goes back to like Vikings things to check. But and I'm not saying he would ever do this, but people, he doesn't like Trump. He doesn't like Trump. People who support Republicans, not even Trump, I've never heard of them telling anyone, don't ever talk to me again. We're not going to speak anymore. That doesn't happen. It does when it's, I lost a longtime friend because she didn't like the fact that I voted for Trump. I could not, I would have liked a good alternative. I could not vote for Kamala Harris because, unlike many Democrats, I saw her as a phony who just didn't do anything. It would have been horrible for this country. But, that's just me. I can't have an opinion for now. People probably cancel me, but that's just how I had felt. And I'm hopeful that things will be good under Trump. It's not like I'm a big MAGA guy. So, it's going to be great. I'm not saying that at all. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Let's talk about your Tommies and my Johnnies, we'll call them. Let's start with the They both had losses, and we'll start with the Tommies because of what it meant. The D1 playing in their Summit League Championship against Omaha. Omaha already had the NCAA bid wrapped up because your Tommies could not go. In a sense, maybe it for the order of things, it's no controversy now because Omaha won the game, and because the Tommies, had they won, it would have been, my God, they should be allowed in the Summit League or in the NCAAs. So now that's gone.
Right. Yeah. There was, I think Barstool Sports called it the dumbest rule in college sports.
It is.
Everybody was highlighting it yesterday, which it was. It is. The thing is remember the football team won their Pioneer League conference in year 2. So they've already had to sit and watch the second place team go on to the playoffs. It's just not as big a deal because, of course, what the Tommies basketball team would have been able to do had they won, and you can argue, motivation, whatnot. They knew that it was their last game. They playing only for a conference title. They weren't playing for a chance to go to March Madness, but that would be a far bigger deal than the football team going to the FCS playoffs, right?
Yes.
And especially in light of the fact that the other D1 team has to run a gauntlet of 5 wins in their conference tournament to get to the tournament this year. And spoiler alert, it ain't happening. And so they lost by 10. They were down by a lot and they came back. The thing is they're going to come back, and of all the athletic programs at St. Thomas, I think John Tower's men's basketball program is the elite program. I think we're going to see them contend for a Summit League title next year.
Every year. He'll have a team every year.
And next year they will be eligible, and we'll see if they're heading to March Madness next year. I continue my prediction that St. Thomas will get into the tournament before the Gophers do again.
And they've been behind the 8 ball, not being allowed to go in. All right, now St. John's, second round of the NCAA Division III tournament. It's tough game, 75-73. They lose to Illinois Wesleyan, and that's, they actually came back a big comeback win in their first round game, 72-71 over University of Chicago on Friday night. But that's another good program and a good team, and they're gonna be fine.
Well, the D3, the fun thing about the D3 men's basketball tournament is it is a lot like the D1. You've got a field of 64 teams in the regions and everything like that. St. Thomas was fortunate to win it twice when they were D3. The last time being, I think, 2016. So it's a big deal. I know that for the Johnnies, they had a lot of seniors that had it in their as one of their goals to get back to that tournament. So that mission accomplished, they got there. it's just a hard it's a hard tournament to win. But being there and even winning one game, is an accomplishment. So it was good on both of them.
We got to move to the other one because it's, to me, amazing. The WNBA players, they may strike because they want parity with the NBA. Are they out of there? And also, this what's her name? Angel Reese. What is she? Yeah. She's threatening not to play unless they get parity. Well, don't play. Hey, you're not the reason you're even in this position to say you deserve more money. It's Caitlin Clark who put you there. And by the way, check the stadium numbers in the game when she didn't come into your town and play. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and then they shamed her into apologizing for being white. So
absolutely ridiculous. You know what? So they had their 1 year.
It's an irrelevant. We were just talking about the Tommies and the Johnnies. My prediction, Bob, you put either of those teams up against the WNBA All-Star team, and the WNBA All-Star team would be on the losing end of that effort.
They're very good, and that's as a women's basketball team. They're good. They are good, but they're not. They're not.
They've lost money every year.
Yes, they're not. They're not driving up. They're not making money. They're not driving revenue. That's how NBA players make so much money. Hey, if you don't like it, then go find another job somewhere else. Go as Mike Lynn famously told Chuck Foreman when he was negotiating a deal in the 70s, go work at the post office if you don't like it. They had better money and better benefits. All right. Jeff, as always, greatly appreciated. Attorney Jeff O'Brien, take a quick break. The BS Show, be right back.